But you touched on something else about mental health with producers as well. And I want to delve a bit more into the kind of psyche of three people producing music together. Mental health is something that comes up quite a lot when I'm talking to artists. And I don't always mean that in a negative sense, because it seems that people obviously regularly producing, you're going to get a lot of setbacks. And a lot of producers out there are doing this on their own, and they do get a lot of negative mental health problems from that. Do you know what I mean? From that setback, wanting to give up, really, really chucking them and taking 2 steps back when they should be taking a step forward and going over that. Is there any advice you can give around that in terms of obviously getting past those setbacks? Because I do try and ask a lot of producers this, because I want to get that word out there. But also, does it help having 3 of you to deal with those setbacks as well?
So advice, I've not got tons of, but 100% it helps, because I mean, we even though there's 3 of us, we definitely have our times with that. But we can pull each other out of the dirt, so to speak.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, like one of us will be having a shitter and just think, we can swear, can't we?
Yeah. We're not on the BBC.
And luckily you can sort of balance and go, no, it's all right. And then pull each other out of the dirt. And it's tricky. We always say we're not quite sure how people do it on their own, because it's crazy. And also we've had more of our fair share of setbacks, to be honest. We've been doing this a long time. And as you say, you only see you only share the highlight reel, but there's a lot. Like, not just because we do everything. We do events, we do the label, we do everything. So there's so many fallbacks that happen. Just try and pull each other out, I guess. try and share the shitty tasks. Try and share the hard talks and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's good as well, because let's say there's an artist who's on their own and they've got to have a difficult conversation with say a label manager, and they need to confront them about some stuff that's gone wrong. They've got to work out what they need to say on their own. Maybe they can ask a little bit of advice from their friends, but their friends don't have any skin in the game. So then, compare that to say me and Robbie, we can sit down and be like, maybe this sounds better, maybe that sounds better, and there's 2 heads better than one.
And we'll borderline script it at times.
And we'll work out the best things to say to different people. And it's not just off the dome. It's we get a chance to sort of would this sound better, would that sound better? And there's 2 of you working together. It just makes all those really difficult interactions, and you do have to have difficult interactions if you're gonna make it in any industry. It just makes them that much more easy, that much more manageable. And when one of us is depressed or anxious, the other one can like Robbie says, drag us out of the dirt. And also the good times, when something good comes in, then you celebrated the good times together as well. So it's far less isolated. I don't know how these single artists do it. Some of them, once they get to a certain level, have got a good team around them. They've got a manager, they've got an agent, they've got perhaps an engineer, some help in the studio, but for people sort of in the mid tier, on their own, it feels some weeks just feel like you're a tiny ship in a big storm, just getting buffeted everywhere. And I don't know how people stay upright, honestly, on their own. So I feel very, very lucky to be part of this team with Robbie. And Paul is he contributes to making the tunes, but he's said from the beginning that he's got a 50-60 hour job fitting glass in Australia, and add to that the time difference. So me and Rob handle all of the business side of it, and Paul joins us to make tunes at the weekend or on his days off, and that works really well for us. So it's really, really great having Paul as part of the team, but the day-to-day and the person who keeps me afloat is Robbie, and I fucking love him.
Yeah, man, and vice versa. Like, I was just gonna say, like, there's been times when like we've made a mistake and we've had someone pretty much just telling us off. Like, this has happened a few times, not one specific. A few times, and we had like a voice note just sort of shouting us, and it kind of feels a little bit like when you're at school and you're being told off in the corner. But it always felt a bit better when your mate is in as much trouble as you are. Do you know what I mean? You're both being told off by a teacher. It's better than just being yourself in the corner game. Yeah.
I guess the answer for that as well, obviously with, you know, the setbacks and things like that, is collaborate more. You know, there's probably a great, you know, a great story to be told in collaborating with music. I mean, another side note from that is, you know, if you want a track to do well on things like Spotify, one of the 50 things they look for to push a tune and get it in those editorials is collaboration, isn't it? So not only possibly are you going to help the mental health side of things with doing that, because you've got somebody to bounce off and share the experience, but you're going to give yourself more likeliness in terms of getting the music out there as well, aren't you?
And you said about advice. My advice for people who are sort of about where Sola is to maybe make some friends with other people about your level and chat every day. Maybe have a group chat, and, you know, people that you trust, and say, oh, this has happened, that's happened. Share the good, share the bad, and try and, you know, feel less isolated with it. Because if you're trying to just do all this on your own, take it all on by yourself, and you've probably got a full-time job as well if you're where we are, and, you know, it can just be so much. It can just be so much. So make sure you're communicating with people who understand, and not, you know, not isolating.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the music industry, while we are sole producers or sole label owners, sole DJs, it is a group effort, isn't it? There's a whole industry here to kind of share those experiences with. And yeah, going it alone, I don't think it's ever the way. You know, you can be a producer on your own, but you need that support system around you if you're not got, you know, two other guys who are part of a group with you, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
So on the flip of that,
this is in no way original advice talk, but the whole thing about the highlight reel is so unbelievably fucking true. Like, that's what kills most of us, really. We'll be in we'll be in a point where we feel like we're in a bit of a rut, and we'll go online and we'll see all of our peers smashing it. But they felt like us a week ago, and then we felt like them the week before that. Like I say, it's not original advice, but it's completely true. Like, what we see is just them winning. We don't see them falling apart in the studio. We don't see them getting turned down by labels. We don't see them all the horrible shit. We don't see them being broke because we
don't see them getting booked for something, and then the lineup comes out and they're not on it, and, you know, and they're like, well, what the fuck did we do wrong? And, you know, there's so much fucking shit that can just happen to you. And like Bobby says, when we're on social media, we're not posting our losses, we're posting our wins, because it's a tool to try and generate more gigs. You know, that's what social media is. You're working really hard in the studio, you're working hard with the label, and you're saying to people, right, book us, we're going to come down, we're going to smash your event. So that's what everyone's doing as well. And so you don't get an accurate representation of what things are like for everyone else, which is why communication with other people, honest communication, is just so important for keeping your head if you're not in a group.
Yeah, it is. We do seem to be all DJs at heart, really, don't we? I mean, any discussion I've had around this is really the music's there to promote the gigs, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And everything we do around it, you have a brand in place because you want gigs, and, you know, you push for that for the majority. You know what I mean? For the majority. So was it that way round for you guys then? I mean, obviously you're touching on this quite a bit. Were you DJs before producers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've been DJing for 22 years now. And was it 18 for you, Rob?
18 for me, yeah.
Yeah. And we've only been taking production seriously for about 10 years. So it's, you know, a whole long time of just being DJs. And I'd say, although I absolutely love all the music that we make, like, my number one passion is and has always been making rooms full of people dance. And, like, that's just my absolute jam. That's what I want to do with my life, always have wanted to do with my life. But don't get me wrong, I absolutely love producing. But I mean, the two go hand in hand, because there's nothing better than seeing a room full of strangers erupting to something that you've created yourself in the studio. You know,
100%. Yeah, I definitely have
experienced that. It's just not the same, you know, getting a crowd reaction from a big tune that any DJ could get a crowd reaction from that tune, you know.
It's when it's a bit more personal to you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
100%.
Not just personal because you made it, but personal because you're the only one that's got it. You know, the amount of times you've been in the crowd watching a DJ and they play 10 songs that the DJ before played, and you think that's fucking lazy. They should have got there a bit before their set and listened to make sure that, you know, they weren't going to be repeating, and be like, why aren't they reaching for like rarer tunes, you know, hidden gems, dubs that they might have been sent. And it's really nice knowing that like we could turn up at a gig and there could be fucking terrible traffic. We get there at 1 minute 2, and we know for a fact that there's no way that 90% of our tunes could have been played by the last DJ because we're the only ones that have them.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I do feel we've had a similar path with that. I mean, I started DJing for it myself. I was very lucky to start producing really early on in my career, like super early. I think I'd been DJing for like 4 years, and then I started producing. So this is my 25th year doing it. The biggest problem I've had in the last few years is I have a love-hate relationship with producing music. I don't like starting music. I don't like finishing music, but I love all the creativity in between, you know. So to actually get me to go and sit down and start something, it's the biggest effort. It's almost like going to the gym. You know, once I get going, I'm on a roll. And that's kind of the biggest thing I've had in terms of setbacks with it. Plus, you know, having kids and a full-time job, you can't do everything, unfortunately. It's a tough one to add that as something else to get in there. So that's probably why my output's maybe 1 track a year, if that.
Being in a group definitely helps us with that. I think we actually find starting a tune quite exciting sometimes. But that's when there's 3 of us on there.
Yeah,
We'll come up with an idea. Like, I mean, the most obvious one we'll think of is when we did Pico de Gallo, which was like one of our biggest songs. And we knew the style, we knew what we were doing. We do like a Mexican style thing, and we just went in and we had the basis of the tune made in an hour or 2.
yeah.
What's up, everyone? Leo HF here, the host of Yo DNB Wraps. Thank you for watching our videos. If you like what you're hearing and seeing on the channel, please make sure you're subscribing to it. Please make sure you thumbs up the videos, and more importantly, let's get some comments going as well. It really helps the channel, and in order for us to provide this content to you, we do need the channel to grow. So we can't do this without your help. Hope you enjoy the video. Speak to you soon.